The Dream Season Football League 6 is the series to determine the greatest dynasty in NFL history. I hope you enjoyed the 3 Thanksgiving games on Thursday. Here on Sunday, the Colts bow to the Titans in a rematch of a thriller just 14 days ago in Nashville, in which Tennessee drills the Colts in Nissan Stadium. The Colts return the favor. Manning throws 2 touchdown passes, and Tim Jennings, the cornerback out of Georgia, intercepts and returns for a touchdown. Manning is second in the league with 19 TD tosses this season. As Indianapolis improves to 8-3, the Titans are on the outside looking in at 5-6 this season. Meanwhile, from Cincinnati, Ohio, the 1980s Cincinnati Bengals are the first team in the DSFL 6 to be officially eliminated from the playoffs. 1-10. They only beat the Titans, and they have lost every other game this year. They hope to play spoilers in the final 5 weeks of the season, but they will not be in the postseason for the DSFL 6. Tough year for Cincinnati. Well, just full disclosure, I have fallen in love with the Bills and the K-Gun offense. There's a look at Jim Kelly's numbers so far in the DSFL 6 as he takes on the Chargers. I've really just fallen in love with this offense over the course of the last 6 seasons of the Dream Season Football League. And for the 1990s, I was just a little bit too young to see this team go to 4 straight Super Bowls. They, of course, lost all of them. But this dynasty, with this sort of offense, I mean, they are just wildly entertaining. And it was a good one against the Chargers of the 1960s. San Diego's up by 4 midway through the 4th quarter. Jim Kelly throws his only touchdown pass of the game to Hall of Famer James Lofton, and the Bills lead the game by 6. That defense was pretty good, too. Bruce Smith, the Hall of Famer, records the sack of John Hadle, and then the Bills win the game. And I know it's sacrilegious. I'm Chargerdude95 rooting for the Bills against the Chargers. They're just so entertaining. We'll see if they make the playoffs again. If they get all the help they want in the AFC, the Bills will hop from 10-6 in the AFC seeding. They win the game here. Well, I mentioned that the Bills hopped all the way into the playoff mix with a win and some help today. They will not get the help from the Oakland Raiders, a team that maintains the division lead. They also have come from out of nowhere at 0-3. They have won 5 of the last 7 games, hoping to make it 6 of 8. It didn't help that Stabler was sacked for a safety in the first few minutes of the ballgame. Fred Biletnikoff had a fine effort today against Atlanta, and the Raiders had a flurry of scores after the first quarter. Marv Hubbard finds the end zone twice for the Oakland Raiders. He was not in the Super Bowl team, but was very good after that in the 1970s. The Raiders' Ken Stabler finds the end zone, and then Monty Johnson, for the second time this season, has a pick 6 in a football game. And for the second time in a weird football game here from Atlanta, Stabler is sacked for a safety again. That is by Vic Beasley. Despite the efforts, Atlanta falls to 3-8. The Raiders maintain first in the AFC West at 6-5. 1940s Cleveland Browns and the 1990s Jacksonville Jaguars. Marion Motley, what has been a tough season due to injuries, he finds the end zone. But this always seems to happen in any NFL football game. The Browns, who were heavily favored on the road, they completely collapse since that touchdown run from Marion Motley. Graham throws a pick 6 here in the 3rd quarter. Cleveland falls apart, but they do get back into the game late with a Galen Smith touchdown scramble, and they get the football back with under 2 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Cleveland, even with their doldrums since the first period, can still tie the game and force overtime. Speedy made that grab, and then here we are with throws to Marion Motley not doing much. And in fact, on 3rd and 2 with him wide open for a touchdown, he drops the ball. So on 4th and 2, Graham goes for the end zone, and it's incomplete. Well, the Browns are currently the 5 seed coming into today, but they suffer a huge loss on the road to Jacksonville and are now 6-5. Critical defeat for Cleveland. Well, similar to the Browns, both the 70s Dolphins and the 60s Jets are dancing on those final AFC wildcard teams. It's a tight race with just a few games to go in the regular season. Bob Greasy throws 2 touchdowns, first to Howard Twilley, and the second after that incredible grab. Same side of the end zone, backline for Hall of Famer Paul Warfield. Here shows some stones late in the game. Direct snap on a 4th and 4 to the kicker, and he converts to win the game. That showed some serious guts from the winningest coach in NFL history in Don Shula. Miami 20 and the Jets 13. What a play call late. The 2010s New England Patriots hoping to win the DSFL 6 proving to be the greatest dynasty of all time. They certainly look like that through 11 games. Ridley rips off this 58-yard touchdown. Fitzgerald makes the score close with a touchdown on the final play of the game. But New England knocks out Arizona to improve to 8-3 despite a 396-yard effort from Carson Palmer. The Cardinals have dropped another one. They are now 3-8. I will spare all of you the boring details of this football game because there was basically no offense. Backup running back Dave Osborne in for the injured Chuck Foreman finds the end zone, and the Vikings win the football game. Carolina, with that loss, is now out of the 7th seed in the NFC at 6-6. Sit back and relax with your popcorn on a lawn chair. This was a good one featuring the 10 Saints and the 90s Broncos in a pivotal AFC-NFC showdown here from Denver, Colorado. Rod Smith had the day of days for the Broncos, former undrafted free agent out of Missouri Southern University, starts the drive, then ends the drive. 5-yard touchdown grab for the wide receiver. But then Drew Brees, the league leader with 3,130 yards passing, finds Kenny Stills for the go-ahead touchdown. But then Smith comes right back 3 plays later with a 75-yard scoring grab. Another one for Smith. And then here he is over the post, continuing to rip that Saints secondary to shreds. And then Shannon Sharp, the Hall of Fame tight end, is in the end zone late in the first half. Drew Brees, who is excellent in the pocket in so many games, he is sacked for a safety by Neil Smith. Broncos kick another field goal, then ice it with a pick six from Hall of Famer Steve Atwater. Critical bout between the two teams because now, all of a sudden, the Broncos go from 0-3 to right there in the AFC West mix. The Saints have a different story altogether. Steve Atwater played well with a pick six, another one. Have yourself a day for Rod Smith, and now the NFC South race has gotten incredibly tight. The Saints are 7-4, and they are in a must-win game next week at the Falcons, the bottom seed in the NFC South, after their 35-20 defeat at Denver. It's the 8th DSFL installment of the 49ers and the Rams. St. Louis won on a walk-off field goal when these two teams met in Week 6. Meanwhile, in Week 12, there is much less offense than the 31-28 win for the Rams just a few weeks ago. We're locked up at 3, and Warner in the red zone throws a terrible pass, and St. Louis settles for a field goal. That would be a big moment in the football game because for some reason, all of a sudden, the Niners wake up. A deep ball to Rice, who makes a sensational catch, and then the Niners get half the distance on a roughing the passer penalty on Kevin Carter. I don't know what happened to the offenses to begin the game, but they woke up since. The Niners, who have underachieved on offense most of the season, are 21st in the league offensively. Rice did grab his 7th touchdown of the season. The 49ers defense gives up a long drive. Falk scores his league-high 10th touchdown run this year. And then Taylor finds the end zone, 17-13. On 2nd and 24, Kevin Fagan and Michael Carter combined for a huge sack for the San Francisco defense. Rams go for it on 4th and 29 and are denied. The Niners come back to split the season series of the regular year against the Rams. San Francisco is now 7-4. The Rams' 7-game winning streak comes to a close. Tyler, the backup running back, breaks his collarbone. St. Louis loses for the first time in 2 months, 20-13 at home to San Francisco. I'm sure Patrick Mahomes and the 2010s Chiefs were happy they were playing Brad Johnson, Derrick Brooks, and the 2000s Bucks than the 2020s Bucks with all those playmakers that beat him handedly in Super Bowl 55. After a Tyreek Hill touchdown, Johnson is denied on 4th down and long. The Chiefs have easy work of the Bucks with a 23-7 win. Any game in NFL history featuring Bears and Packers, you know it's pretty good and you know it's pretty important. This one was very important out of the NFC North, and it was a great football game from Lambeau Field. It begins with a George McAfee 41-yard interception return touchdown, but then Paul Hornung from close scores to tie the game at 7. Bears come back with a Fan McGletty 5-yard run, 14-7. 22-yard touchdown pass from Bart Starr to Ron Kramer. 14-14, then Bears kick a field goal with their backup. Their starter, Bob Snyder, broke his toe on a field goal. Kavanaugh touchdown, 24-14. Starr goes deep from 18, and it initially was ruled incomplete on a beautiful throw to Nafalchik. They reversed the call on a sensational toe-tapping catch, It's 24-21. Bears kick another field goal. Under 3 minutes to go in the game, Carroll Dale from distance races all the way inside the 15-yard line. And on the next play of the drive, it's starred to the end zone yet again for Dale, who had a brilliant performance. Reigning Dream Bowl II MVP, number 42, Sid Luckman, quickly takes the field, goes 3 and out, and on 4th and 17 is picked off for the game by Hall of Famer Herb Adderley, 3rd pick of the season for him. The 60s Packers, they are right in it now. They began the season 1-3. They have won 5 of their last 7. And now the Packers are above 500 for the first time since the season opener with that pick from Herb Adderley. Both quarterbacks played well, but Starr was just a little bit better. Dale had over 100 yards receiving, and the division is now airtight. The Green Bay Packers, next week, if the Lions lose, they have a shot for first place in the division. The Packers in Week 13 will play host to Philadelphia. Speaking of Philadelphia, that is the site of the first snow game of the season as the Seahawks pay a visit on Monday nights. The first touchdown of the game was from starting quarterback Tommy Thompson, the backup quarterback Roy Zimmerman at the receiving end of it. Just a weird play. And then in a mean of some normalcy, Steve Van Buren, one of the greatest running backs in the history of the NFL, has gone from 85 yards. And then even on a play that wasn't for the Eagles, Steve Van Buren was all over it. Wagner picks him off, then look at number 15 go. As he chases him down, Wagner still was ruled in the end zone, but the running back from way outside the play, he was there. And that showed that no one would be able to match him speed for speed. It seemed like he was the only one playing on something other than snow in the football game, and he ices it on 3rd down and 9. Give it to him. Steve Van Buren accounts for over 230 yards in the game, 3rd most in DSFL single game history. 193 on the ground, 44 through the air. He was just dominant as Philadelphia knocks the Seahawks out of the NFC wildcard chase with the win. So with that, Week 12 is in the books. Here's a look at the scores and also a preview of the games coming up in Week 13. So DSFL 6 was promised to be special. For the first time in Dream Season Football League history, I will be showing you the Chargerdude95 Big Board. So first, we are going to look at the games that would be happening if the playoffs were to start today. And then afterwards, I will give you playoff scenarios for 2 divisions every week to get you ready for the postseason. So here we go. This is what would happen if the playoffs were to start today. Pittsburgh and Dallas would be the teams earning a first-round bye. The division of most intrigue, AFC West, features potentially a game for the 3rd time this year featuring the Raiders and the Broncos. That should be pretty good. The 70s Oakland Raiders, due to conference record and division record only, have the tiebreaker right now over the Broncos and the Chiefs. Oakland has a relatively winnable matchup next week at the 3-8 60s Jets. So if they beat New York, then that means the Broncos and the Chiefs, who play at Arrowhead this coming week, the winner of that game can join the Raiders atop the division. Of course, if Oakland loses, then that means the winner of that game takes the AFC West lead. So that should be fascinating. And there at the bottom, the Chargers, they're basically done. Next week, they play the New England Patriots at home. They lose that game, one of the 4 opponents over 500 for them. They are out of the postseason mix. But the AFC West, the top 3 seeds, it's probably all going to come down to the final game of the year. And the big board will conclude with the NFC West, another thrilling division right now. The Seattle Seahawks of the 2010s, as of today, are the first team out of the final NFC wildcard spot, but they do have the easiest game on paper for Week 13 of the season, home against the struggling 4-win 80s New York Giants. Meanwhile, number 1 San Francisco, their Week 13 opponents, is home for the Buffalo Bills, who are 6-5. That's a tougher matchup. And the Rams will visit the Cardinals. And for St. Louis, they're up against a team in Arizona who likewise is 2-1 against the division this season. They have played well against the NFC West, and the Cardinals are going to need to win that game to have any chance for the postseason. So that was the big board. I'll do it again next Sunday for Week 13 of the DSFL 6, the all-time Dynasties franchise.